Okay, so aside from the very exciting news that Nintendo 64 games are coming to the Nintendo Switch, we can finally play Paper Mario and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo Switch. Well, eventually when they add that in. Those two games and Banjo-Kazooie will eventually be coming to the Switch as well. That means Microsoft-owned games are open to come. Perfect Dark and even better, Conker's Bad Fur Day. And there would be online play as well. The nostalgia meter would break, guys. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the Robo-Chan Show, where we cover the latest gaming news, leaks, and rumors from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in 2020 and beyond. If you want to be kept up on the latest gaming news, make sure you click that red subscribe button below this video and that notification bell so you know when I upload. And if you're interested, I have a Patreon, which link to that will be in the pinned comment along with my Twitter account. In this video, we are going to talk about the biggest Nintendo Switch news that we got from yesterday's September Nintendo Direct. What happened before this Nintendo Direct and what certain games appearing before this Nintendo Direct means for the future of the Nintendo Switch online service. And games that once were thought impossible to come to this Nintendo Switch online service for the Virtual Console. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, it sends signals to YouTube to push the video to more viewers when you do, and if you want to help me reach my goal of 800 followers on Twitter, you can follow me at RoboroB93. Without further delay, let's get to the video. So we finally got the Nintendo Direct that we have been talking about on this channel for the past month. Plenty of Nintendo leakers which I've covered said that one was happening this month, and it ended up being true. Though I think we all expected Nintendo to have a September 2020 Nintendo Direct based on the pattern of the past 5 years. And what a Nintendo Direct it was. First off, let's start with the Nintendo Switch online service news. So we are not only getting Nintendo 64 games, but we will also be getting Sega Genesis games as well. Now the games that will be available at launch for the Nintendo 64 games goes as follows: Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Yoshi's Story, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which is really cool, Win Back, Mario Tennis, Dr. Mario 64, and Sin and Punishment, which I've actually never heard of. Tell me if you guys played this game, because I've never played it. And for the Sega Genesis, we have all these wonderful games. It's actually really cool that we have Sonic 2 and Echo the Dolphin. Funny enough, I have a lot of childhood memories of playing Echo the Dolphin and Sonic 2, but more so Echo the Dolphin, which you would think you would have more memories on Sonic 2, but that's not the case with me for some reason. According to the Nintendo Direct, these games will be called the Nintendo Switch Expansion Pack, which is a reference to the Nintendo 64 expansion pack that, if I recall, you popped into the Nintendo 64, and it added more power to the Nintendo 64 to play games like Donkey Kong 64. And if my memory is serving me right, there was one that had a red top, and then there was one that was all red. Now, one thing that current users of the Nintendo Switch online service and Switch owners who do want this need to know is that it will cost more money than your current existing subscription payment. Now, unfortunately, no payment price was shown at the Nintendo Direct, but I expect it not to be too pricey as the Nintendo Switch online service is pretty bare bones when you compare it to Sony and Microsoft. They also said in the Nintendo Direct that current existing members can upgrade this, but they didn't tell us if there was going to be an upgrade fee at all. But fortunately, as they said in the Nintendo Direct, more info on this will be coming later on, which more than likely is probably at the Tokyo Game Show or another Nintendo Direct for January. Unless Nintendo wants to squeeze in another Nintendo Direct before Christmas, but I doubt that. Now, we are also getting the original Nintendo 64 controller and the Sega Genesis controller as well, with the functionality being wireless, which is fantastic. It's gonna be great seeing all these people confused on how to play with this Nintendo 64 controller. Heck, even I may be having some trouble remembering. It's gonna be fun getting used to this controller because it's gonna be a blast from the past, a huge amount of nostalgia-filled fun. I'm really excited, guys. Now, if you guys do want a review on that controller and my thoughts, I'll put one down in the comment section below. Just tell me in the comment section below if you do want a review on the Nintendo 64 controller. Now, interestingly enough, Banjo-Kazooie is on this list of games that will eventually come to the Nintendo Switch online service. Now, we know that Rare does own the IP and Microsoft owns Rare. So the fact that we could see this game on here potentially means that other games could also end up being on there as well, or at the very least have a higher chance than before. Games like Conker's Bad Fur Day appearing have a much higher chance now, which is really exciting. I mean, could you guys imagine us playing the multiplayer for Conker's Bad Fur Day on on the Nintendo Switch Online service, or even just getting together with friends and playing a whole bunch of games in that game, it would be a huge blast of nostalgia and very fun. Then again, you could always emulate it and do it that way, but having it on Nintendo Switch is always great too for more options, especially for portable. Now, if you guys want to see my top 10 Nintendo 64 games for the Nintendo Switch Online service, you can click the top right corner of this video. And moving on to the next bit of news for the Nintendo Direct, we finally know when Mr. Sakurai will show us the final Smash Bros. DLC. On October 5th, 7 AM Pacific Time, 10 AM Eastern Central, we will be getting the final Smash Bros. DLC. And for those hoping for that small glimmer of hope of more DLC coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'm sad to say that the words used in the Nintendo Direct says otherwise. They specifically said that this will be the last Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC, which means that they're not going to have any more DLC anymore. But, and this is just pure speculation guys, it sounds as if they moved on from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and are working on the next Smash Bros. So Nintendo might already be working on the next Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch or whatever Nintendo has planned for the next Nintendo console. If they do a next Nintendo console, which is a whole other topic for another day. Next up, you Animal Crossing fans have some really good news. Well, I guess I do too, because I am an Animal Crossing fan. It seems that we will have an Animal Crossing Nintendo Direct. Now, from what I've seen here and there online, Nintendo hasn't really supplied much content for Animal Crossing New Horizons. So the fact that we finally get a full-on Nintendo Direct with a bunch of different news coming is really great to see for you guys and for me too. Now, another thing that you Animal Crossing fans may have spotted is that Brewster is coming back to Animal Crossing as well, which is really exciting for those who like that character. And moving on to the next game that we saw at the Nintendo Direct, we have a new Kirby game. Now, interestingly enough, a new Kirby game was leaked ahead of the Nintendo Direct as well as the Bayonetta 3 trailer. Well, the news of Bayonetta 3 being at the Nintendo Direct, not the trailer itself, which now we know is officially coming and it's a 3D Kirby. This is something that I really wanted to see. For a while now, we have been getting a lot of 2D Kirby, so it's nice to see something change up in the Kirby formula. I can definitely see a lot of the inspiration from Mario 3D World with different aspects of the camera angles on the levels, along with the usual Kirby gameplay as well. Now, not too much was given gameplay wise, we just got a couple snippets of gameplay from this game, but before the Nintendo Direct, an RPG style Kirby was part of a Nintendo leak, so this could be that game. So we may see some RPG elements when more gameplay from this game is shown, which done right could be really fun. And again, like I said, I'm a huge RPG fan, so I'm always welcome to have those mechanics in my games. When it works for the games, when it's just shoved in the game for no reason or to keep you in the game, it's not fun. But Kirby wasn't the only game leaked before the Nintendo Direct as well. The Nintendo leaker Samus Hunter straight up said, yeah, Bayonetta 3 is gonna be at this Nintendo Direct. Now, whether or not this is her info or info she came across and is claiming as hers is something else. She didn't specifically say it was her info or someone else's, so we can only guess at this point. But it was leaked before the Nintendo Direct, which you could always say she guessed it too. But Kirby was straight up revealed on the Nintendo website by accident. I would assume someone is getting fired by now. Now, Disco Elysium is also hitting the Nintendo Switch, which I've heard so many good things on this game, but I've never played it. The problem is, I'm not sure what kind of game it really is. It looks like an RPG game with some in-depth choices that matter, which, if that's the fact, I definitely do want it because I love those kind of games. I'll have to look a little bit more into it and see some gameplay from the game, but if it looks interesting and is a great game, I will probably be picking it up on October 12th along with anyone else. We also are getting more DLC for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity as well, with more playable characters. They showed off some gameplay very quickly, and they do look pretty cool. But that game aside, guys, we got a new Mario Kart game. I mean, kind of. It's pretty much Mario Kart, but Final Fantasy. It's called Choco GP, and I swear this looks exactly like Mario Kart. And well, kind of, because it does have some aspects from Diddy Kong Racing, because if I recall from memory, you were able to stack different balloons and have different effects for the items you used. So there's a little bit of Diddy Kong Racing in there, and there's a lot of Mario Kart in there. Between this game and the Nickelodeon Smash Bros, a lot of people are copying Nintendo. But in all seriousness, this game does look really fun. It has all the Mario Kart goodness with a dash of Final Fantasy and just a hint of Diddy Kong Racing, and I am really into it. I'm really hoping that they just don't have the monsters. I'm hoping they add actual characters from Final Fantasy later on, because I'd love to play as Lightning. I am one of the very few who love the 13 series, except the first one. I don't like Final Fantasy 13, but I do love Final Fantasy 13-2 and Lightning Returns. Now, moving on to Bayonetta 3, we finally got that trailer, and I would say it does look fun. It didn't blow me away personally, especially in the graphics department. Not just to say it looks bad, but I guess I was expecting more from the third game in Bayonetta. Now, this could have been an old build, like in case of the Pokemon games. That's always a possibility, so I guess we'll have to wait until the next trailer. But graphics aside, gameplay looks insane. You can control these giant monsters, and apparently you can have different type of monsters as well. I mean, there's huge kaiju monsters, and then there's flying ones, and then there's like a giant spider that you can crawl on buildings. It's literally looking really cool. Not only that, but I noticed that Bayonetta does come in a different form, and that affects the attacks that she has as well, which is really cool. It kind of reminds me of the different forms from the various Kingdom Hearts games. And when I play Bayonetta 3 and I get that sense of power that I do in Kingdom Hearts, but in Bayonetta 3, I'm all for it. Oh, and I almost forgot, we got the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic hitting the Nintendo Switch. As I said, I'm a huge RPG fan, and I've actually never played this game, so I'm definitely gonna pick it up day one. I'm gonna try to finish it before that remake comes out on the PS5, which I do own a PS5, and I definitely am gonna get that as well. Really, the only memories I have on this game is my friend playing it and me watching him play it. That's the only memory I have on it as a child. And that's not the only thing that appeared in here that surprised me. Well, kind of surprised me. Actually, no, it didn't surprise me at all. The Castlevania Collection was rated in Taiwan and Australia, so it was obviously going to show up at this Nintendo Direct. But one thing that actually did surprise me is that I initially thought it was going to be 3 games. It's actually 4 games. And not only that, but it's only $20, which is a really good deal for 4 games. Granted, they're Game Boy Advance games, but it's still cool, especially with the portability factor of the Nintendo Switch and having it all on one cartridge. I would hope anyways. I hope they don't do that thing where they put some games on there and then have the rest downloaded. Now, the last announcement I want to talk about is the Mario movie. This is so weird. We are getting Chris Pratt as Mario, and Mario is going to be full on talking, full sentences and all. I'm so used to Mario saying 1 or 2 words, it's going to be a weird experience, especially Donkey Kong, who doesn't really speak often. In the video games at least. I know sometimes in the cartoons they do speak a lot. Jack Black is also Bowser, which is going to be a little funny to see, and I'm interested to see how he does Bowser's voice. The cast is just so out there and so weird that I kind of am more interested in than I was before, but also worried at the same time. It's a weird feeling. And then you add Illumination on top of that, and you can kind of see how this is very exciting but very scary at the same time. I mean, could you imagine if this is a huge hit and we have the Mario Cinematic Universe? Well, you can't call it the MCU actually. I was gonna say the MCU, but that's already taken. I guess we can call it the NCU, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Anyways, guys, overall, the Nintendo Direct was really good for me personally. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think about it? I know that people are different. People look forward to different games and have different taste in games, so the Nintendo Direct might have been completely bad for you, but good for someone else. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy this video and dislike if not, and of course subscribe for more gaming news. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.